I saw some people asking, so which exchange? And we experienced this, right? It was like we were trying to figure out an exchange. Do we keep everything on one exchange, right? We talk about this formula, especially when we're investing in the market where we have maybe Fidelity just for our stocks, and we have E-Trade strictly for our options, and we might have, we separated by platforms. What's your thoughts on having a Coinbase and I mean maybe having a Kraken, and at one point I had Binance and I had Gate.io and all these things. Gemini, I had Gemini as well, and it just becomes a lot to track and try to keep a account for. What's your thoughts around that?
Sounds like your sneaker collection, Troy.
You know me well.
I'm all for simplicity and for not overcomplicating something that is already very complicated. We gave you a list of exchanges. If you really want to get out on the edge, Kraken is the place to go, where you can do very, very exotic type trading and access a bunch of different platforms. If you just want to start dollar cost averaging and building a portfolio of crypto assets, then any of these brokers are fine. Even BlackRock will help you do that. Even Schwab will help you, I think, custodian some ETF, some crypto ETFs. But Fidelity is allowing you to do it today. Coinbase is definitely, that's what they do. Robinhood allows you to do it today. You really can't go wrong unless you really want to get very complicated with it. And even like a tasty trade will allow you to do some options play. Interactive brokers, if you want to do it on the international front, they all allow it to a certain degree. But for basic investors that are building positions and trying to just make sure they understand it, I would keep it all in one place for now. And if you decide that you need to get a little bit more advanced and the platform you have doesn't allow you access to the coins you want or the tokens or the types of trades you want, then it's okay to either take on a new one for those types of trades. But simplicity is best in a complicated asset.
There you have it. That is a fact. That is a fact. And yeah, you can keep it on a ledger, but just be careful. That's it. Keep it on. Like I always, like if you had $10 million, all right. I'm speaking to the audience. Put it in chat. If you had $10 million in cash, would you rather have it in a vault in your basement, or would you rather have it in Chase Bank? Neither one is a wrong answer. But
if you're Giannis, you have it in 50 banks.
50, at least.
Not.
At least. Because that $250,000 of it is protected by each bank.
Mm-hmm.
But look at all these NBA players and NFL players who are getting their house robbed when they leave town for a game. Schedule's out there for everybody to see.
They know the road game.
Yeah. So a lot of people saying vote. So if you say vote, then you should have it in a ledger. You should have your own ledger. If you're saying Chase Bank, then you should have it with
that was one of the things.
Crypto.com or Coinbase.
One of the things Chris was saying on Monday night, which is interesting. He wants to be in control of everything. He doesn't want to have anybody in control of it but himself. And so that's one of those things is
until the
house burns down,
they blow up your house.
Right, they blow up your house, or somebody robs your house, and now all the money's gone. But if you're gonna have that level of control, you have to equally have that level of security.
Yeah. You're the CFO, you're the CTO, you're the CEO, and you're the chief security officer.
That is a fact, and this is vitally important too. Have some. When I was a financial advisor, there was a thing called the beneficiary handbook, because if I have life insurance and I bought $1 million life insurance policy, right? Let's say, and I secure my life insurance policy in a safe, and I have my will, I have my trust, I have all my documents, I have my retirement plan, I have it in the safe. And I'm just a very paranoid person. I have everything in the safe, and nobody's planning on dying, but let's just say I just die one day, right? Well, if I never told anybody I have this stuff, it doesn't matter.
Good point. That is such a good point.
You can't rely on life insurance companies calling you. They're not. I worked in the industry. It's not going to happen. Millions of dollars of life insurance never gets paid out because they were never notified that the person dies.
Mm-hmm.
What ends up happening is that you're no longer alive, so you stop paying your premium, your policy lapses, and the company keeps the money. I say that to say, if you are keeping it in a ledger and you do have a complicated security code, well, you got to tell somebody the code, or you got to tell somebody the access to the code, because if you die and nobody knows anything, then you're screwed.
God's with you.
I saw a stat that, tens of millions of dollars in crypto is just gone, disappeared. Either people lost it, died without telling anybody the code, right? That is very important. I'm glad you mentioned that, Rashad, because if you're working with a financial advisor or planner or a lawyer who helps you with your wills and your trust, your revocable trust, you have to make sure that you are very explicit about the transfership of that custodianship of your crypto assets. Otherwise, it will disappear, right? It has to be very explicitly laid out in your trust or your will.
Yeah.
Again, we're still building the rules around this. This is a 14-year-old asset. So like the highways, there was no rules when we first started driving. There was a lot of accidents until they started making rules and regulations around custodianship. We need them, especially in this really exotic asset class. But I'm so glad you mentioned that. I forgot.